What's up, dude? Welcome
What's
to
up,
another
man?
episode of the Stand Up, man. You know, first
I
first
love
thing
stand up.
I love stand up, and I don't know ever we never really know what's coming to mind. You know, it's kind of we've been talking for 35 minutes about stuff we could have recorded just before we pressed record on this episode. You know, one of the things that we're really talking about is how do you stand out in a crowd? Like, the world is so noisy. We're talking about going to networking events tonight, of which we're not going to go to networking events tonight, you know, for a bunch of different reasons. We don't have to really talk about them. But how do you stand out in a crowd? How do you leave an impression? How do you do something that's like changes the experience of like exchanging a business card, which feels very sterile, which feels like almost mechanical. There's like nothing personal about it. Brings me back to like American Psycho, and everybody's sitting around the table and everybody's got the same freaking business card. Everybody's like talking about font weights and like, you know, like the paper quality, and like, forget it. You know, it's like nonsense. So, you know, you and I do something that is very unique when we think about exchanging information and giving people value in the very first minute that we meet them. And what we do is we give everybody our business card. This is the most glorified one that I have. It's like every concept that we've ever played with, from defacing to American currency, to stamping American currency, to QRing it or putting our information on it. This is the one that like I use as my proof of concept. But the question always comes up, like, where did that idea come from? And so I actually legitimately have a story. So when I was very young and I would go and do something, maybe it would be like a band concert or the graduation from elementary school, or, you know, I'd go climb a high mountain or something like that. My grandfather would put some luck in our pockets. All the grandkids, not just me, all the grandkids. This is the luck. This is the luck. I've kept every note. This one says, take me to Kilimanjaro, but come back safely. This one says, take me to Israel, but come back safely. $2 bill. This one says, congratulations, happy Hanukkah, from 2013. You know, like for any random reason. And so this idea of putting luck in somebody's pocket is as old as I am. It's always been part of my life. It's always been something. That's not where the origin of the idea is, though. That's where the origin of like give before you ask for the order. That's the origin of just being valuable to somebody's experience. It's where the idea of increasing your surface area for luck really comes from. So I was at a conference, professional conference one day, and I was going booth to booth to booth. I think it was like an SEO or some type of industry conference for when I used to work for Bright Edge. And lo and behold, I come across this booth, and this booth is, instead of giving out swag, you know, some people give out like a toy or a stress ball or a pen or a notebook or whatever the fuck. This business was giving out $2 bills. Shout out to the Hoth. They're still around today. SEO, CRO, service provider. Shout out to the Hoth. I'm going to tag you. That's not where it clicked, though. It clicked years and years later. You and I were actually at a conference or a networking event. I don't exactly remember. And I walk into the bathroom, and lo and behold, on the bathroom floor is my freaking business card. Classic business card. I think
Brutal. I remember this. Brutal, dude.
Classic shitty business card. Nothing impressive. Tried to make it cool. Garbage.
Just sitting in a puddle of piss under the urinal.
Literally sitting on the floor in the bathroom. And I had given out this card like a ton of freaking times. Like, I don't know who it was I don't know who did that, but on the floor of the bathroom. And I don't know what it was, dude, but I like remember waking up. I had like my own stash of $2 bills. It's always something I've kept like in my glove compartment to tip valet with, or to have an extra couple of dollars in the car, tip the gas attendant, like whoever, whatever. And I was like, dude, I got to do what the Hoth did, is put value into somebody's pocket. I got this a career ago from the Hoth. It's been in my wallet ever since, and I keep it with me absolutely for luck. And look how it comes full circle, maybe a decade later from when I got this thing. So to me, I put this thing together, and I'm like, the $2 bill. Let's make the $2 bill something that somebody cannot throw away. And so over the years, we've improved on the $2 bill. Today, it has a QR code that takes us to our dot card. The dot card has every possible way to get in touch with me, every channel that I'm on, every social network that I participate in, everything. But it originally just started with stamping the logo on the card and fuck you, find me if you need me. But now it's about the talk track. It's about putting value in your pocket first. It's about making a first investment in our relationship. People ask me like, oh man, $2 is expensive. Yeah, it's not as expensive as taking a deck of 500 business cards and using them as toilet paper.
And just throwing them out.
And so let me ask you a question. How many times in our career, in our business, since we started issuing these as business cards, has this business card come back to you?
Never. In terms of like, have I ever seen it on the floor or never?
Well, yes. Well, never that. But how many times has it come back to you in a way of value where oh, I remember you gave me that, or I heard about you, let me get one of those, or I had this in my wallet from years ago. I didn't know where it was.
Everybody says.
Yep.
Everybody says it's the best marketing they've ever seen. Like they're like, oh my God, this is an amazing idea. And I actually went to a networking event on Monday and met someone from out here on Long Island. And they said, do you have a business card? And I pulled out the $2 bill. I gave it to them and they said, oh, and they carried $2 bills. They were like, oh my God, somebody gave me this advice. They said, carry $2 bills and pay for things with it because people will remember you. And sometimes I love our QR code because I'll tip with these. I'll tip the valet. I'll throw them in the tip jar at like a Starbucks because I feel like they just end up somewhere. And I love to just like leave like this, you know, you talk about surface area for luck. I just think about like if the universe wants to bring this back to me, like maybe it'll come back in the form of a email. I'm sure it's probably the reason I get so many text messages and stuff from like solicitors and stuff. I'm sure that I ended up on some list somewhere, but I always think there's the chance that someone's going to say, hey, if you're the guy that builds apps, I got your $2 bill from like, you know, I found it or it got paid for somewhere or someone recommended you. So I always feel like it's very memorable. It's about standing out. I never liked the business card because I think even before it ended up on the floor in the toilet, I always said, you know, my thinking was unless we exchange numbers, like we both pull out our phones and I put you in my phone book and we're like, and I give you a text and I'm like, hey, we're going to get coffee tomorrow. It never goes anywhere. The meeting just doesn't go anywhere. You know, I got the stack of business cards. They end up on my desk, kind of like over here somewhere with like the expired credit cards. And then maybe every couple of months, I have to throw it all out. And I break the credit cards in half. You know what I'm saying? You know, like you just throw them all out. You're like, all right, I'm going to clean house. Every now and then I go, oh, I kind of met someone that did that. I wish I had more than a business card. I wish I knew them on LinkedIn. I wish that we had kept. So in reality, you also have to just kind of keep in touch. Because I'll sometimes remember that, but I'll never. I say, I met someone that did that, but I forget who it was. You know, you won't forget the $2 bill though, especially if you keep it in your wallet as a lucky thing. Now the challenge that we've had is getting the QR code to print cleanly so that it scans with the phone. Right? That's been a recent challenge.
We've been through generations.
Yeah.
Damn QR code.
We're gonna have to come out with some kind of a laminate that like keeps the QR code clean, but it definitely. Being able to stand out is such a difficult thing, especially at these networking events.
And you know what? So why do we talk about this today? Because most people stand in their own way. Most people just like don't know how to put themselves in a position where they can stand out in a crowd, and how do you leave a lasting impression? And so we got this advice quite some time ago from one of our early mentors, which was, you know, go to a place where you stand out uniquely and then never let them forget you. And so all of these things kind of came together, and we have found tons of little Easter eggs, tons of little ways to stand out in a crowd, tons of different ways where we have just manufactured success for ourselves or opportunity for ourselves or whatever it is. And so most of this really has to do with just being creative and being unique. And thinking about something for you and your lifestyle and your business and some type of genuine, authentic origin story that works for you. This is just what happened to have worked for me, and something that you really caught on to and now works for you. And, you know, one of the things that I truly value is that moment that somebody asks you for your business card and you hand them currency and they go, they can't believe it's real. And then I say, there's nothing fake about me except my lips. And so you're just that banter, like that just break,
You
you
got
know,
Botox.
break the moment. Make people feel comfortable, make them laugh, make it feel like a little strange and awkward. Like I have a whole talk track. You know, my purpose is to put value in your pocket in the very first second that we meet. I hope that we have a long-standing relationship together. I have a whole talk track. You've heard it. And
Yeah.
so I find that light bulb moment, that to me fills my cup, man. Like that's just how, that's just going to be part of our story, my story forever is give till somebody else asks for the order. Shout out to Gary
Well,
Vaynerchuk.
we've always said that the number one metric of our success is how quickly can we get you to your first dollar. You know, as a software founder, person who spent, you know, that's the number one thing, is how quickly can we get you to the first dollar. And that to me always signals. Now if you hand them a $2 bill on day one, there you go, I got you to your first dollar. But in reality, it kind of signals, it plays into the entire story of the legend, if you will, that we're trying to establish here, is that we're going to get you to your first dollar faster than anybody else. It really doesn't matter, you know. I don't want to talk about hours pricing and retainers and all this nonsense. When we come together, our goal is to get you to that first dollar quickly and ride this business, because I know that for me as a business, I benefit when you are successful. I don't benefit from building a bunch of failed software projects, because then I just got to go out to the networking event, more $2 bills. It's very hard to find that customer. So because finding the customer is so costly in our industry, I need to bet on people that are going to win, and I need to make sure that, like, I give them every single chance that I can possibly give them of them winning, and winning quickly. You know, that's the name of the game here.
Well, dude, I think it's just a quick episode and giving people a little bit of the secret sauce about how we run our show. You know, feel free to steal the idea. Please, I didn't invent the $2 bill. I'm not the first person to give it out in like an origin moment. My grandfather was doing this when I was a cherub 30 plus years ago. You know, like it's not unique. It's just unique to me, and it's different from what your everyday is. So I just implore you, if you're listening, you're trying to stand out in a crowd, think about what's special to you. Think about your authentic story from zero, and figure out creative ways to stand out and leave an impression. Dude, thanks for a good episode.